Hi guys, welcome back to the Casual Watch Review channel. So I'm wearing my NASA t-shirt today in honor of two awesome Omega Speedmasters that I got to review this week. So I've been lucky to review some great Omega watches on the channel before. We looked at my own Speedmaster, that Ultraman Speedmaster, that great James Bond Aquaterra, and then of course that very quirky Michael Phelps Planet Ocean. But these two watches, they're the best ones that I think I've ever reviewed, or the best Omegas that I've ever seen in the flesh. And that is this stunning dark side of the moon, almost completely black Speedmaster. And then my personal favorite, which is the gray side of the moon. So let's flip the camera around and dive straight into the review.
Really lucky today to have these two awesome watches side by side. Here we have the dark side of the moon on the left and the grey side of the moon on the right. Before we dive into the review, let's get those all important case measurements out of the way. They both have a case size of 44.25 millimeters, and then a lug to lug on the grey side of the moon of 50 millimeters, and then on the dark side I had it measured at 49 millimeters. They both have the rather alternative 21 millimeters as the lug width. They are slightly thicker than a standard Speedmaster. They both are 16 millimeters thickness, but still a very wearable size, and you'll see from the wrist shot shortly just how wearable they are. Let's start the review by looking at my absolute favourite out of the two of these. In fact, this is probably one of the best Speedmasters I've ever seen in person. That meteorite dial is absolutely captivating. And of course, by the meteorite material that they're using, each one of these dials is going to be totally unique. I think the contrast using the rose gold here with that ceramic bezel and then the ceramic case of this Speedmaster, it gives it a great look. That ceramic case that they've used gives it a really nice feel in the hand. Now, both of these awesome watches use Omega's caliber 9300, and that is one of their coaxial movements, so these are equipped with the coaxial escapement. The rotor on these watches winds in both directions, which reduce the winding time, and they each have a power reserve of 60 hours. So the features of the 9300 movement are the coaxial escapement, silicon balance spring, double barrels, and then a column wheel with an ultra smooth clutch for the chronograph. Now, it's believed the column wheel is better than the cam lever chronograph because it offers better precision and smoothness in operation of the stop and run of the chronograph portion. So the 9300 has a free sprung balance wheel, an SI14 hairspring that is believed to be vastly superior to any other metal-braced hairspring, and that includes Rolex's Parachrome. In terms of durability, the balance wheel is made from titanium. All of the 9300 series movements are almost totally unaffected by magnetism, so they're just awesome movements. The only thing it is fair to say is they do need to go either back to Omega or to a specialist watchmaker that has experience in coaxial movements, because they're not as easy to service as standard Omega or ETA movements. Side by side now, really smart looking watches. Now, they both come on the crocodile on the grey side of the moon, and then the dark side of the moon here comes on this fabric strap, so they don't have a metal strap or a strap that's made out of that zirconium oxide that they've used to make the cases here. Now, how they've made this case is a really interesting process. The cases are made out of a zirconium oxide powder that's then stamped to the desired shape of the case. It's then baked to a very intense heat, and the nature of this material means that once it's baked, it can be diamond polished to be either very smooth like the pushers on here, or also have a matte finish as well. This gives an awesome look to the case on both of these models, and that's incredibly hard to find on another mass-produced watch. Using this material means they have to laser etch in things like the tachymeter and also the etchings on the back of the case. So on the dark side of the moon here, we can see it says dark side of the moon at the top of the case here. The dial on this dark side of the moon is also made from that ceramic material, so it gives it a wonderful, like, glossy depth. The indices on here are white gold as well as the hands, and then we've got Superluminova inside the indices. and it also has a date on it as well, which is unusual to find on a Speedmaster, except on some of these other models. And as you can see, we've got the double hands here on the dial at the 3 o'clock position. Moving to the grey side of the moon now, we can see that awesome meteorite dial. Now, they use an acid etching process to bring the grain out. Apparently, I'm learning that you can only get this grain from a meteorite itself. Concentrating on the dial, we've got rose gold on the indices and then the hands. Just an overall gorgeous looking dial. Probably one of my favourites that I've seen on a Speedmaster in a long time. On the wrist, both have a very similar wrist presence, very comfortable. You are aware of the kind of bubble back on the case as well. You can certainly feel that, but I quite like that. And the grey side of the moon, here we can see very similar on the wrist. So in summary, a great pair of Speedmasters here. Now, if you were lucky enough to own both, I think they complement each other perfectly. I think they're a little bit out of my price range, but if I did have the money, hands down, I would go for that grey side of the moon. The case, the way that the rose gold on the tachymeter and on the hands complement that meteorite material, it just looks awesome. The flash of red on the second hand as well. Also, each of the crowns has lume on it as well. Now, I didn't really get a good shot of this because of the lighting conditions, but a really cool feature nonetheless. Anyway, let's flip the camera around and go back to the studio.
So guys, that was my review of those two awesome Amiga Speedmasters. I think my favorite had to be that grey side of the moon. But let me know which is your favorite in the comment section down below. I really appreciate all the comments that you leave me. And if you enjoyed this video, easy way to help me out on the channel is just to hit that thumbs up. If you want to contact me directly, like a lot of you already have, so I appreciate that, you can contact me on any of these social media links. If you've got any suggestions for the channel, etc. Or you can contact me directly at thecasualwatchreviewer@gmail.com. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time on the Casual Watch Review channel. Thanks guys, bye.